Welcome along, everybody. Tonight, look, we're really excited, as we always are, to share an incredible new technology, a health technology that, look, it's making such a difference to people's health and well-being, their health outcomes. It's had a big impact on me. I mean, I haven't felt this good for 20 odd years, to be fair, physically and also mentally. We've seen it right through from my children, right through to my 95-year-old dad. Incredible health outcomes for him as well. But we're also going to talk about the business opportunity that is powering this. Now, you might be along here tonight just to look at the health benefits of the X39, or you might be along here, you're looking for a business opportunity. And in my opinion, this is probably the greatest wealth creation opportunity I've seen in 40 years of business. And also the technology itself is probably the greatest technology that I personally have seen. And I've been down the wellness track with supplements and so much for so long. I came upon this completely by accident, where I saw a friend who was really struggling with his health. I saw him several months later. He was a completely different person. And I said, what was happening? And he said, I got patched. And I'm going to talk to you about what being patched means in a moment. But look, I want to introduce my co-host, a really good friend of mine, a very successful businessman, Dean Pickard. So Dean, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Hope the evening's going well. Yeah, listen, I'm very similar to Chris. Run a number of businesses. Wasn't actually looking necessarily for anything else, but Chris and I sat down, had a cup of coffee one day, and he talked to me about what we are doing tonight. And so for me, I looked upon it as an exit strategy. A lot of you have businesses, a lot of you have been working for a long time, and you got that little thing in the back of your mind going, hey, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do going into retirement? All of those sorts of things. So that's where I was coming from. And so for me, I looked at it I was quite focused from a business perspective. The technology we're going to talk about tonight actually was just a secondary fantastic thing for us. It was just, changed everything. So, yeah. Sorry, Chris.
No, excellent. So look, what we're talking about is the X39 stem cell regeneration patch. Now, we're going to run through that. And look, I think and we're talking about less than a cup of coffee a day. When I first saw this, and I was talking to my friend Ross, and it was him and his wife that introduced me to it. I thought, this sounds great. It's going to cost me an arm and a leg. And he said, it's less than that cup of coffee you bought today. Well, I buy 2 cups of coffee, so it's only half of what I spend on coffee a day. And I thought, okay, so let me just share with you. I think the easiest thing for me to do is share the slideshow that I saw, as a presentation that I saw. All right, and look, and we just say, have you been patched? Sounds a bit corny, but we're talking about the X39 stem cell, or it's a light frequency patch, which goes about reactivating dormant stem cells, and then that regenerates our body.
So David Schmidt was the inventor and CEO of X39. He's got 200 odd patents, heading for a few more this year. He's a scientist and inventor. He specializes in age reversing. So in 2008, David focused his attention on stem cell research. The recent patent that we'll talk about took him 10 years and about 4.5 million US to actually bring it to the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And so look, we're looking at a man's life work, and you're just about to see through the major streaming platforms, Netflix and so forth, a story, David Schmidt's actual story, and how he came to create the likes of the X39. And so this goes right back to where the Navy SEALs they contracted David Schmidt to help them, because when the SEALs were under the water in submarines for long periods of time, they were losing their energy levels. And so they contracted David Schmidt to come in and say, look, we need a solution. These guys are drinking copious amounts of coffee and other substances they shouldn't be taking just to keep their energy levels up. What can you do? Well, then 9/11 came along, and the American military's attention was diverted. So David Schmidt teamed up with National University in Ireland, And then, as Dean just said, the X39, oh, sorry, so for 2008, he focused on stem cell research. And so the X39 has taken 10 years just to get to market. So this is not just somebody that's jumped on the bandwagon saying, oh, hey, stem cells are the cool thing at the moment, or peptides are the cool thing. This is a man's life work. And the patent around the X39 is quite unique in the sense, and why I love the fact that it is patented. To get a US patent, it actually has to do what the patent says it does. So you can't go along to the patent's office and say, hey, look, I've got this great idea that I think we can reactivate dormant stem cells. They're going to go, well, that's nice. Go home. When you got it, when you can prove it to us, then we'll allow you to get a patent. So if you look at the patent here, it talks about the beneficial effect by providing phototherapy to the human body. As a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation in antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. And I always smile when I see that, because any one of those would be phenomenal, let alone all of those. So that's what he had to show the patents office before it be approved. The other thing about a patent is we have exclusivity. You can't get this anywhere other than through a brand partner of LifeWaves. You can jump on Amazon, you can jump on eBay, you can jump on a couple of those places. They are complete knockoffs. They are fakes. They are imitations. You can only get the real thing through a brand partner of LifeWaves.
Yeah, so the stem cells, as you know, make up every organ of your body. They're the little cells that zoom around and make a brain and make a hand and do all the things that it's supposed to do. So as you age, our stem cells become dormant. Now, I didn't know about that. My doctor had never told me. So when I hit 30, 50% of my stem cells were active, 50% were dormant. As I'm getting older, and as some of us get through to 60-ish onwards, then less than 10% of our stem cells are active. And that makes a massive impact on when we're talking about healing. So when we look at a child and a baby, I know when Adam was little, he'd walk and fall over and bruise himself, cut himself. And you see that almost instantaneously. The body starts to heal, and that's the stem cells doing their work and zooming around and fixing everything. But of course, as we get older, the wrinkles appear and we're much slower in terms of we getting up and, creaks and groans. And so when we look at this, we sort of say this is, it's not a short-term fix, okay? We always say to people that you want to look at it, if you're, say, as an example, 50 and you've been around 5 decades, and you want to use the product for 1 month for every decade that you've been alive. So some people have fantastic results instantaneously or very quickly, but this is a long-term thing. We always encourage people that you want to think about that 1 month for every decade.
Absolutely. So what is the here we go. So what is the X39 and how does it work? So it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. So phototherapy is light. So it's called photobiomodulation. That's the technical term. So light therapy has been around for centuries. Going in the sun for a little while is light therapy. And you might have been to wellness clinics where they use, sort of like centralized light, infrared light, ultraviolet light, white light, and it just helps stimulate stem cell production around that particular area that it's focused on. Well, we're talking about a wearable light therapy. That's all it is. So how this patch works, you'll see in the back of it, it's if you see that there, it's got medical grade adhesive. And we peel that sticker off, and then we just put it on our body, and we'll talk about where to put it in a moment. And it reflects some of our body's own light back. Now, I can't think of anything more natural in healing than using your own body's light. So how that works is as mammals, as human beings, but any mammal, we give off light. Give off heat, give off light. Can't see it with the native eye, but if you had night vision goggles or the type of apparatus, you'd actually be able to see it coming off. All this does in this patch is there's a lattice work of amino acids, salts and crystals, and all it does is reflects, just like a prism reflects light, it reflects your own body's light back in, which elevates a peptide called the GHK-Cu copper peptide. Now, when you elevate that peptide, it then sends a signal to your dormant stem cells to come back, to start producing. And so that then puts your body in the optimum state or place to be able to heal itself. And the way probably I'd describe this so simply is when you go in the sun, there's absolutely no vitamin D in the sun's rays. I asked someone the other day, I said, where do you get vitamin D from? He said, oh, the sun's rays. I said, no, you don't. The sun's rays actually elevate the vitamin D that is in your body. All this is doing is elevating that naturally occurring peptide, the GHK-Cu copper peptide, that then reactivates your dormant stem cells, or the production of your dormant stem cells, which is a naturally occurring process that declines as we age. So there's no chemicals, there's no drugs, there's no stimulants. It only reflects the light to activate. It's completely non-transdermal and it's non-invasive.
So what are the benefits? You'll see down the bottom there, sort of optimal health, state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Well, optimum health and wellness means a lot of different things to different people. It allows us to improve our exercise performance. We use this, or a lot of people use this in sports. There's been some fantastic results with improvements in strength and stamina, energy flows. But as Chris said before, there's no drugs or stimulants in this. This is reflecting your own heat and light in your body, and it's kicking that copper peptide in place, stimulating the stem cells to be able to do all of those little bits and pieces. And so for me, when I thought about this myself in the wellness space, I was a bit sort of sore and achy and getting a bit older. And in particular, I had a sore knee. And one of the things Chris said to me, and it was nice and simple, was, Dean, peel and stick. So I'm like, yeah, peel and stick, that's easy for me. Probably for most guys as well. So that's where I started in this journey.
And you can see all those there. So some of the long-term results of the X39, within the first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset. Now, that's what they've tested. That's what they showed, through all the studies, through the National University in Galway, or National University of Ireland, in Galway. So over 4,000 genes begin to reset to a younger age. Within about 6 weeks, the brain becomes a little bit more balanced. Now, we've seen that a lot with some of our neurodiverse friends. Some of our colleagues struggle a little bit with things like ADHD, anxiety, and so forth. Just found that they're a little bit more balanced. My son, when he started using that, he has a wee bit of ADHD, and he said, Dad, I said, look, just try it. Start using this, bud. And so he said to me after a few weeks, he said, Dad, this has saved my life. He said, I went out with a girl for the first time. I wasn't anxious and I wasn't nervous, and I just felt like mentally I was in control. But one of the most important things here is that your collagen comes back after around about 3 months. So one of the other things that the GHK copper peptide is responsible for is collagen production. So if your stem cells remained at optimum levels of production as you aged, and your GHK continued to produce as it did when you were younger, we wouldn't get wrinkles. And that is when we get wrinkles, it's just purely our collagen thinning. But the scary thing is all our major organs are made up of collagen. You think about it, our bones, our heart, arteries, veins, tissues, sinew is made up of collagen. So if it's thinning on the outside, it's also thinning on the inside. So to be able to bring that back is going to create significant health benefits. It's nice to look good, but it's what's going on inside that's really important. And after 6 months, they found in their studies at the university that the average heart reversal was 8 years. So biological age reversing of their heart, just wearing the X39, it was 8 years on average. And I believe that, I'm no doctor, but I believe that's just the collagen coming back. So we're not even talking about anti-aging here. We're actually talking about age reversing.
So how to wear it? As I said before, from a guy's perspective, peel and stick. However, there are a couple of pressure points that we do. When the product was being tested, this is how they used it. So We always say on your C7, the back of your neck there, and also two fingers underneath your belly button. And of course, if you put it on for 12 hours and we take it off for 12 hours, so 12 hours on, for me, after the shower, put it on, it elevates and activates and regenerates straight away. That's where it starts. And the reason we take it off for 12 hours, we just want to give our body a little bit of downtime to rest, to repair things and to rejuvenate. So that's how we use it.
And the other really important thing is to stay hydrated. It's so important. We're drinking electrolytes. We have Celtic salt at home. We just pick it up in the chemist. It's got a lot of electrolytes in it. I sometimes take electrolyte sachets in the afternoon because stem cells like to be hydrated. I mean, our body likes to be hydrated. Our cells like to be hydrated, and it just helps the whole process. And look, I think one of the important things that we always say, LifeWave never claims, and we're never claiming, we're not doctors, we're not claiming this will treat, heal, or diagnose any particular illness, sickness, or disease. But we've just seen through the people that we've introduced life-changing effects. And we can share that through personal testimonies. So this is not classed as a medical product. You go, so why is it FDA approved? No, it's not, because to be FDA approved, it needs to be a medical device. That means only medical people can refer it. This is FDA cleared. They check it every couple of years and say, is it doing what it says it does? And so then it becomes a wellness product. That means we can refer people, we can share our personal testimony and recommend this to other people, which is great from a personal perspective, but also from a business perspective. But look, very quickly, when I started with the X39, I actually went along to see how I was looking for something for my daughter who was struggling with some health issues. And when they talked about the overall benefits, I thought, well, I'd be nuts not to at least try this. So I started using it for my own health and well-being, as well as my daughter. But what I noticed pretty much within a week, I was thinking so much more clearly. I get to the back end of the week and I'm running fairly hard during the week, meetings after meetings after meetings in my normal course of business. Friday became a little bit tiring. Suddenly that tiredness was gone. I was working at the gym. I was recovering quicker. I mean, I lift weights now that I was lifting 20 years ago. I recover quickly. I used to go in the gym and I pushed myself really hard. I trained with my 26-year-old son. And so, but it'd take me 3 or 4 days to recover. And so now, but I'm recovered the next day. And so I really noticed that benefits. My partner, Andrea, the big thing she noticed going through that time of life for her was the brain fog had lifted after about a month. So as Dean said earlier on, it's not a quick fix. It's going to take time for your body to reactivate, regenerate. All the X39 does is just switch it on, switches your stem cell production on. But the night sweat started to go, the sleepless nights started to go. And she said, I had no idea how bad I was with the brain fog until it went. So, and look, I can go on and on. We can spend the next 3 hours just talking about effects. And we even talk about my 95-year-old dad, he was lying on the couch, says, oh, Christopher, I'm too lazy. I can't be bothered getting up and exercising. I said, Dad, look, you'll die if you keep lying down. And so anyway, my brother Mike, who's on this call, he stuck the patch on Dad and said, Dad, you got to wear this every day. Wear it during the day, take it off at night. Within a few weeks, he was walking around our property. We've got a 7-acre property. He's walking 1.5 K a day. He was doing 50 freestanding squats a day. I mean, put me to shame. I was like, that's impressive, Dad. He's just come back from a 3-week tour around South America at 95. Part of a tour party. So, yeah, look, I could go on and on. But Dean, do you want to share a couple of things that had happened to you as well?
Yeah, for Larice and I, it was quite different. Larice had some pain in her hands, and it took around about 3.5 weeks, a month for the pain in her hands, sort of similar to arthritis. And that had gone, and Larice plays the cello, so that was going to be quite important, obviously, with hands. But the pain hasn't come back. For me, as I said earlier on, it was my knee. You know, I was flabbergasted. I had a sore knee for about a year, and it had started affecting my hip because, of course, you know, the way we walk and we take some pressure off the knee. And I was thinking, man, I'm going to need to have a knee replacement. And it was really about 3 or 4 days, and the pain had gone from my knee. and it hasn't come back. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't niggle me sometimes when I'm out doing some exercise and digging and stuff like that. It does a little bit, but the next day, it settles down again. It was amazing in terms of that space. But one of the things for me was heart and blood pressure. The doctor decided he wanted, as probably quite a few of us on the call, sometimes we have some pills from the doctor, and for me, it was trying to bring down that blood pressure. And I guess the most important thing for me is it's actually measurable, because I've got a little blood pressure monitor at home that I use and sort of check things, and we were monitoring what was happening with the pills and stuff. And all of a sudden, my blood pressure started coming down, and I was doing nothing else. So that was a measurable thing for me. So and I can, like Chris, can go on and on and on and on with different situations of people that we've spoken to, and the really fantastic positive effects. It's just been mind blowing.
I think the thing to all that, Dean, isn't it? You know, we've always known that the body can do incredible things if it's in the right environment, if you give the body the right ability to heal itself. So if you're brand new on here, go and have a look at this site. This is at info.com. It's all the information you need, the studies, the patents are in there. There's doctors in there. On the front page, there is 3 videos, talks about light therapy, talks about the X39. David Smith's on there talking about where this came about. There is doctors talking about why they recommend it to their clients. So go in there. That's the best place to look at that. Google's not the greatest place. You're going to get really good stuff on Google. You're going to get really bad stuff. So like if you want to go and buy a vacuum cleaner, one person can say, this is the best vacuum cleaner I've ever had. Another person going to say, it's rubbish. And so go to the right sites. If you want to do research, by all means do it, but go to the right place.
So, as Chris said earlier, this is not a fly-by-night company. It's been around for over 20 years, and that's pretty solid. It's in now over 75 countries around the world. But one of the things that we really like to point out is the growth and the trajectory. When David originally started developing this, the business built, and in 2021, we used for the last couple of years in terms of the growth, but in 2021 it was $20 million US, and that's not a bad business. I'm sure anyone here would be happy to have some business that does 20 million a year. But the introduction of X39 was the thing that absolutely sparked the revolution around the world, and it's just expanded and grown very quickly from there. So in 2022, you'll see it was 320 million, massive jump. I mean, who would like an extra 300 million in their bank account in 12 months' time? I mean, pick me. So in 2023, 430 million, 2024, 600 million. Last year was pushing for $1 billion, just scraped underneath it. But you can see that not only has the company been around for a long time, but the product and the growth from the X39 has been what has pushed all of this growth. And that's not just people coming on and having a look at it. This is purchases that are purchased every single month, on and on and on, because if people are using it and it's working, they're going to continue to purchase it, which is one of those great things from a residual perspective of passive income. People are going to use it, they're going to like it, it's going to work for them, and they're going to purchase it again. That's one of those great things. And of course, for me, like I said before, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, you take that off and throw it away, that's great.
Absolutely. So LifeWave is a company that manufactures this. It's now ranked #1 in momentum in the direct sales space. And I'll just cover this one quickly, Dean. So last year they won the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year Award 2025. So that's a biotech breakthrough awards. So there's thousands of people vying for this prestigious award, through multiple countries. So, and you can imagine the brain power and the research and the science and stem cell innovation. So LifeWave have won it for the last 2 years.
So this slide is probably one of my favorites, because it actually comes back to what's important for us. And I often talk about this when I'm chatting to various people about the business and the product. I sort of say, well, listen, all of us have dreams and we have goals. And so often what happens in life is they get beaten out of us. And I don't mean it physically, but we go through life and not everything turns out the way we hope it to, And so what I like to say to people is, listen, how about we get those dreams and those goals back out again. We dust them off and we go, hey, maybe there's something here that we can have a look at what our life might be looked like now, whether it's family time or security for yourself, travel. Chris and I, a few of the guys here tonight have been on a few trips. But what about better health, or less debt? I mean, who wouldn't like to get rid of their mortgage, And those are the things that I like to talk to people about, because getting those dreams and those goals back out again, dusting them off and going, man, why don't we give this thing a crack?
And so if you look at, and we're completely changing tack away from talking about the benefits of X39 now to the benefits of the business. Now, you might just want the product, and that's absolutely fine. But why not at least have a look at the opportunity of being able to share the product with other people? Because to be honest, you won't be able to help yourself. You get such good benefits and then you go and tell everybody. It's like me, I'm always saying, hey, I found this great wine, or I watched this great movie, or I've seen this great Netflix series. So, but conventional business is really high startup costs. I've been in business for over 40 years. I've never worked for somebody. Well, I did for 6 months, hated it. But it's high risk, and the amount of when you are borrowing money often to start a business, sometimes it's in the hundreds of thousands, some businesses it's in the millions. So that's high risk, because you've got to have clients come in the door, and you've got to pay the employees first before you ever pay yourself. The long hours. I've been working 80 to 100 hours for as long as I can remember. And the trial and error, the mistakes I made because I didn't have a coach or mentor. But now I managed to make my way through it. But I would have loved to have learned some of those mistakes early on. Or learn from them, I should say. So within LifeWave business, it's very simple. You can start this on a credit card. Or the product has a 30-day risk-free trial. You work your own schedules. Now, some people will work 1 hour a week talking to people with this. Other people will work 10, 15, 20. It's completely up to you. It is your choice, because when you register with LifeWave, you get the distribution rights of the X39 and its other products. And the time you put into that's 100% up to you. Make your own schedule, and there's a 20-year track record.
So we always talk about solving problems, and if you've got some current problems to solve in the market, apologies, I should go back and start at the top, Chris. Sorry, opportunity happens by creating solutions to problems or issues that people have, and whether it's financial struggles or poor health or wellness, there's a whole range of things there that people have a challenge with on our day-to-day basis. And what the LifeWave solution offers is it's patented phototherapy technology. So like Chris said before, you can't get it anywhere else apart from your brand partners. It's a duplicatable business model, and it's going to allow you to have optimum health and wellness. The duplicatable business model is really, really important, because most of us, we have one job or one business, and that often we're working that we're swapping or trading those time for dollars, and it doesn't give us the opportunity to expand or to duplicate us. Sorry, Chris?
Absolutely, and just as a byproduct is that optimum health and well-being. So from a business perspective, you've got to have a structure. There is a plan. So when you enroll with LifeWave or you register with LifeWave, it costs you nothing. But you'll get one of the enrollment packs, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, and that'll be based on where you see this for you. But we work on a binary compensation plan, and it's referral marketing, it's word of mouth, it's direct sales, it's direct from the company. So whoever invited you along, they're not going to sell you products, they're not going to pay you commission, you're not going to pay anyone commission or sell them products. You'll plug them directly in with the company, you get plugged directly with the company ship direct to you. Any commission that is given to you for referring people, and that's why we get paid. That's the only way we get paid, is either by using the product or referring other people to the company. So instead of the company going through your traditional wholesale, millions of dollars of advertising, wholesaler, retailer, and then it gets to the shelves as a very expensive product. They take 60% of the company and share it amongst the brand partners who go out and share this with their family and friends. There are 9 ways of making money, and we're going to whip through these relatively quickly because we could spend an hour just on this. But just the binary compensation plan allows up to about 25,000 US a week. So that's not going to happen overnight. This is, if you are serious about this from a business perspective, it's going to be a 2 to 3, certainly a 5-year project or business, because any business takes time to build the volume and build the numbers. But one of the cool things is you just start by sharing with people that you care about. Say, hey, I found this great product. That's all I did. I went and saw my brother. I went and saw my best friend. Went and saw a couple of business colleagues. Say, hey, you wouldn't believe this product that I just found. And then it just took off from there.
So the business launch bonus is one of those great things for brand new people. So you have the opportunity, not only on top of all of the other bonuses, to pick up some bonuses when you're brand new. And that really helps in terms of people thinking, wow, there's something here for them. So we always have in the first 48 hours, why don't you go and talk to those people you love, your family, your friends, your colleagues, and have a chat to them, get them involved. So 2 people, we talked about the binary and the structure, one person on the left, one person on the right. That will give you, as a business launch bonus, of $25 US a week for 8 weeks. Now, what if you duplicated that, as we were talking about before, and you put 2 people on the left and 2 people on the right? And you might do that in the first week or so. Then there's going to be $50 US per week for 8 weeks. And I look at it from my perspective and go, wow, even if you said it was $400 US, it's not necessarily a lot of money for some people, but for other people, it's life-changing,
Absolutely it is. And look, there's matching bonuses as you introduce other people, and then you teach it. If you decide to run this as a business and you teach those people and you teach them or coach them through a duplicatable process, you get rewarded for that. And then the whole thing just duplicates. Dean couldn't stop what he started already. I couldn't stop what I've started already, because we've introduced some people to this who've gone and talked to some of their family and friends, and they've had a real need, and they've been in a position to say, hey, I want to run with this. And so I'll let you cover this, Dean. But
right.
when you enroll with LifeWave, I think it's just important to understand that you're not paying anything, but you are getting full distribution rights. So, Dean, I'll just hand this bit to you.
Yeah. So there's 4 ways that you can get started. We have 4 packs that are at wholesale, and the more you purchase, obviously, the cheaper it becomes. So if you are just by yourself and you think, hey, I'm going to try this out, and well, we would suggest, instead of paying a retail price, buy it at a wholesale price. And the wholesale price to start with is 3 sleeves, and that's going to give you 3 months supply. It's going to be just under $100 US per month at $295 US, and I think that works out to about 550 New Zealand dollars. Now, but that's if you want to try it, you want to use it yourself, and you want to talk to some other people about it. But you might have a larger family, all right, and there might be 2 or 3 of you and some children, and you kind of go, well, listen, why don't we get 6 sleeves? And that there is 535 US. It's around about 950 New Zealand dollars. But where you start from a business perspective is you might think, listen, not only are you going to use it, but you're going to want to have some extra sleeves to share it with some people. When you're going to have people that come and you talk to them about it, and they're going, hey, let me try it out. Now, from a business perspective, the Advanced Plus and the Premium packs, you're getting 11 sleeves or 20 sleeves. That's for a person that really wants to kind of go, hey, we want to build this thing, and we have a focus on developing that.
We might have just lost Dean with the internet, I think. So, look, the premium pack is 20 sleeves, and that's be somebody that might have a large family, or that might be somebody that that wants to run with the business. So this is a sleeve, and inside of that is 30 of the patches. And so I often would use this as rolling stock. So if somebody new comes along and I'm talking to them, they want to jump on board and join us in this journey, I'll loan them a sleeve. And then when their product arrives, they'll give it back. So that's a rolling stock. But the most important thing is being on subscription. So we talk about a one sleeve or a two sleeve subscription, and all that is each month so that when you get your enrollment pack, whichever one you choose, and that depends on your budget and where you see yourself in this, it's entirely up to you. But that's a one-time purchase. Then you're just getting this each month as you need it. So I would go back and talk to the person that invited you along and get them to just maybe talk through which is the ideal pack for you. But and I'm just really closing off now because we've actually gone over the 30 minutes. I apologize. But if you want to find out more about the product, this is at info. That's got all the product information, the studies, the patents. This is a team. It's like an online university for learning. Now tonight at 9:30 New Zealand time, 7:30 Australian time, if you see something in this year for you, the couple that set up the whole This Is It team in the US, and I understand they have about 80% of the global volume, and they've been involved for about 4 years. They've got such a good system, such good training. They're coming on. They're getting up about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning US time and sharing with us. So look, I'm gonna stop sharing now, and just as we wrap up, go back to your brand partner. And just if you're brand new here, or if you've been in for a little while, talk to your brand partner or the team you're working with and say, okay, how do I really get going? How do I really get started with this? And they can talk you through this or plug you into somebody that can. But look, I can say to you categorically, in 40 years of business, and I've been involved in financial, my main business is financial services. I've had multiple financial services companies. This is the best, the greatest wealth creation tool I have ever seen, because the product is world class. It's exclusive. No one else can get it. But the timing, and look, you'll come up against opposition because it's new and people aren't used to new stuff. I mean, but it's simple. It's just wearable light therapy. That's all it is. It's so simple. So that's when the time to be involved in that. And so, and just the product, it is just phenomenal. All right. Well, I've really enjoyed sharing with you. I don't know what happened. Dean's internet, I think, has probably died on him. Probably remind him, Dean, we said 30 minutes, so we've gone over. So, but look, it's been an absolute pleasure sharing with you.